Liquidity pool from river pool. In rivers, pools form where water slows, deepens, and collects. They are zones of accumulation created by terrain and resistance. Money behaves the same way. Liquidity pools are places where capital gathers and pauses, such as markets, funds, institutions, financial instruments. Pools attract activity. Life gathers around them, so does risk. A healthy pool supports ecosystems and opportunity. An unmanaged pool stagnates, concentrates danger, and breeds instability. Calm water can be nourishing or deceptively dangerous. The same is true for money. Liquidity creates opportunity, but without movement and discipline, it quietly becomes risk. Everyday life example: money saved in one place, like an FD or savings account, acts as your personal pool of liquidity. Economy level example: when large amounts of capital accumulate in markets or funds, they create liquidity pools that support national investment. Business level example: a business holding cash reserves or investment capital creates its own liquidity pool. Capital drain from drainage. A river doesn't only flow forward, it also loses water through hidden pathways, tiny drains, quiet seepage, and small unseen outflows. Economies and individuals lose money the same way. Capital drains happen through inefficiency, poor decisions, unmanaged debt, waste, hidden expenses, bad habits, structural leaks. These losses don't announce themselves. They simply pull volume from the river until one day the current feels weaker and no one remembers where the draining really began. What looks like a financial drought is often just a long, ignored monetary drain. You don't notice it daily, but you feel it when the money river eventually runs dry. Everyday life example: unused subscriptions or impulse expenses quietly drain your budget. Economy level example: when a country loses money through corruption or inefficiency, its economic strength erodes. Business level example: operational inefficiencies, debt, interest, or recurring losses slowly drain a company's capital. Financial reservoir from river reservoir. Rivers store water in reservoirs, buffer zones that protect the ecosystem when rain stops flowing. Economies store money in reservoirs for the same reason. Reservoirs absorb shocks, recessions, crises, sudden disruptions, drought shocks, unexpected downturns. A reservoir isn't built during a drought, it's built before one struck. The same principle governs financial strength. Reservoirs create stability, they maintain confidence, they keep systems functioning when everything else slows down. Without reservoir, rivers become vulnerable to drought and economies become vulnerable to collapse. Reservoirs are not excess, they are insurance for the system itself. No reservoir means exposure, no reservoir means fragility, no reservoir means vulnerability. Everyday life example: money stored to handle sudden expenses. An emergency fund protects you when income drops. Economy level example: a country's oil reserves function as a national reservoir, so the economy runs steadily during supply disruptions. Business level example: a company keeps extra inventory in a warehouse that prevents production stops when demand spikes or suppliers delay. Economic waves from river waves. Rivers have waves, ripples, surges, and surface movements shaped by flow and pressure. Economies have waves too: booms, bursts, cycles, expansions, contractions. These are not mistakes in the system, they are the system's rhythm. Some waves are gentle ripples, Some are sudden surges. Some are long cycles that reshape everything downstream. Waves, they move water forward. They move energy forward. And economic waves move momentum, confidence, and opportunity the same way. You can't stop waves, but you can learn to read them, anticipate them, and finally ride them. Those who understand waves navigate, but those who don't get tossed around by them. Everyday life example: your income and expenses naturally rise and fall over months. Economy level example: economies go through expansion and contraction cycles, mirroring recurring waves created by shifts in demand and market confidence. Business level example: a business experiences sales spikes and slowdowns throughout the year. Business tides from river tides. Some changes are not random, they are rhythmic. Rivers experience tides, predictable rises and falls caused by forces beyond the river itself. Markets behave the same way. Consumer behavior shifts, seasonal demand rises and falls, market confidence expands and contracts. These are business tides. High tides lift most boats, low tides expose weaknesses in them. And what works during high tide often fails during low tide, not because the strategy is wrong, but because the timing is. Ignoring tides doesn't make you independent, it makes you unprepared. Those who understand tides don't fight them, they plan with them. Everyday life example: festive seasons increase your personal spending and quiet months reduce it. Economy level example: tourism, agriculture, and retail sectors rise and fall with seasonal and social cycles. Business level example: a business sees predictable surges during peak demand and dips during off seasons. Market bubbles from water bubbles. In water, bubbles look impressive, large, shiny, attention-grabbing, and then they vanish in an instant. Markets behave the same way. Market bubbles inflate fast, fueled by excitement, speculation, and the illusion of size. A bubble appears big because it is mostly empty space. No weight, no structure, just confidence holding a thin layer together. The fastest a bubble grows, the weaker its foundation becomes. And when the tension breaks, it collapses suddenly and violently. Same behavior, same pattern, same warning. If something grows too fast without substance, it is not growth. It is a bubble. Everyday life example: when you get excited and overpay for something trendy, only to regret it later. Economy level example: when housing prices rise too fast without real income growth, the entire economy forms a bubble. Business level example: a company valued far from its actual profits or output can crash suddenly when reality catches up. Revenue or capital reserves from river reserve. A river reserve refers to the floodplain area. This zone is intentionally preserved so the river has the space to swell, release pressure, absorb floods, and maintain ecological balance. It acts as a buffer that prevents disaster and sustains the river's long-term health. In finance, a reserve is a portion of profits deliberately retained instead of distributed. These funds strengthen a company's stability, support future investments, and shield it against unforeseen losses. A reserve represents a protected, held-back portion of total capacity that ensures stability, safety, and continuity. A strategic safeguard that protects the system, absorbs shocks, and ensures uninterrupted flow. Everyday life example: keeping a small surplus in your monthly budget acts as a reserve, giving you a buffer when unexpected bills appear. Economy level example: a government maintaining foreign exchange reserves works like a protected floodplain. It stabilizes the nation during currency shocks. Business level example, a company retaining part of its profits instead of giving full dividends is building a financial reserve. Cash flood from river flood. Too much water, too fast, destroys the landscape. Not because water is bad, but because the system can't absorb the volume at that speed. Money behaves the same way. The sudden flood of cash creates inflation, speculation, and instability. Prices rise, risk-taking spikes, markets lose discipline. Cash floods feel like blessings at first. More liquidity, more spending, more excitement. But floods don't nourish, they overwhelm. They break structure, distort direction, and leave damage long after the water retreats. The same is true for money. Too much, too fast isn't prosperity. It's chaos. Floods are not always blessings. Everyday life example, a sudden bonus or loan can make you overspend quickly, leaving chaos afterwards. Economy level example, when governments print too much money too fast, inflation surges. Business level example, when a business receives rapid investment or credit without structure to manage it, it collapses under the pressure. Cost sink from river sink. In river systems, some areas absorb water endlessly, swallowing volume without releasing it back into the flow. Money behaves the same way. Some expenses absorb cash continuously without generating value, leverage, or return. That's a cost sink. Cost sinks don't announce themselves, they hide in habits, routines, inefficiencies, and unnoticed commitments. Water lost to a sink doesn't strengthen the river downstream. Money lost to a cost sink doesn't build wealth. If you don't identify sinks, you keep increasing effort upstream while wondering why nothing accumulates downstream. Unseen sinks don't look dangerous until everything is gone. Everyday life example, unused subscriptions or lifestyle habits quietly drain your money. Economy level example, government inefficiencies or wasteful programs absorb public funds endlessly. Business level example, operational waste, outdated processes, and unnecessary expenses consume resources without creating value. Retail factory outlet from river outlet. A river empties somewhere into a sea, a lake, a delta, or another system. It's the point where the flow transforms or transitions. Money behaves the same way. Factories, stores, outlets are the points where money exits its original pathway and converts into goods, services, assets, or obligations. An outlet is not just an endpoint, it is a conversion zone, a place where movement becomes meaning, where effort upstream becomes value downstream. Some outlets create value, some simply drain it, some multiply the system, others only consume it. Where the river empties, it shapes the landscape. Where money empties, it shapes a person's financial destiny. Outlets are where value leaves the system or transforms into something else. Everyday life example, when you spend money at a store, your cash leaves your personal system. Economy level example, national spending at retail factories shows where a country's money flows out or gets converted. Business level example, a company's retail counter, payment gateway, or service point is where money finally enters or exits its system. Levy taxation from levy. A levy controls a river's outflow, keeping the system from flooding, redirecting excess water to safer channels. Money has the same mechanism. A levy, tax, controls financial overflow. It moderates flow, redistributes pressure, and prevents imbalances from destabilizing the economy. Taxes don't eliminate money, they redirect it. just like a levee, prevents the overflow of a river. When a levee fails, the river floods. When a taxation system fails, economies flood. With instability, inequality rises, markets distort, and pressure builds in dangerous ways. Different spelling, different domain, but same function. Flow control for the survival of the system. Everyday example: taxes deducted from your income redirect part of your earnings, preventing unchecked accumulation. Economy level example: tax systems redistribute money to fund public infrastructure, stabilizing the economy. Business level example: corporate taxes regulate profit flow and fund public systems, ensuring balance between private gain and social stability. This isn't trivia, this is translation. Once you realize that finance already speaks a language you understand, the hesitation and confusion dissolves. The course of money making stops being mysterious and becomes saleable, passable, and that's the exact and actual purpose of the Rivonomics Framework. Not to teach you numbers first, not to teach you meaning first, because once something makes sense, you can propel within it, you can reposition yourself, you can rebuild. If a system can't be explained or understood, it can't be mastered. If it can't be mastered, then it will control you. So don't memorize finance, translate it. And remember, money system was never chaos or random. It was always a river system. A river rewards those who steer after understanding how it flows. I'm Salahuddin, this is Rivonomics, and you are awakening.